Alright everyone, welcome to my Green Hill Zone orchestration breakdown, Sonic the Hedgehog, that is. We're going to listen to the exported audio first, then I'm going to try to break it down instrument by instrument what I did. And also notice that I got this tempo automation, it's this one. And the exported audio doesn't exactly care about that, so basically what this means is that it's going to show 150 BPM through the whole exported audio, but in reality I did change the tempo here and there. Alright? So let's go. Let's listen. Alright, so let's start with the first bar here, which is this part. This is in the original. So I got these high strings here, just doing this. And this is like before the song really kicks in and gets its drive. Actually, let's do it like this. And that's just a way to ease into the track. I did it with cellos too. Cellos does this. We also got some basses, double bass. And if we look on the expression, it rises up. So it's not like loud in the beginning. I really just wanted to ease into that. Except for strings. Really, this is mostly strings, but also got the percussion doing this. Cymbals. And these two. And the percussion kicks in, just like the track kicks in. So that's just a way to ease into the track, to start something before the real action comes in. Alright, cool. So we also got, let's start from the harp. When the song kicks in, we got this famous arpeggio. Goes on forever, basically. I did layer it on the strings. I also think I did layer it with woodwinds, if I'm not wrong. But it's on a lower volume. And the strings mostly in this section is playing rhythmic parts and the arpeggio. So if we look at the basses, it's doing this. And these notes are in the original too. I'm not sure about these three, to be honest, but that part is. And if we look at this, I'm playing with the velocities, so it's not like, I don't know, like this. I've got a rhythm on it because of the velocities. And I did layer it with cellos, but cellos also does these long notes. I think, yeah. So it's like this. And it's the same thing. This is a layer. This is the same thing that the basses did. Even the same notes. And that's basically what it's doing. I did use some bass trombones. This is the brass section. And it's doing this. So first we got this. And this is also the bass notes that we saw in the double basses, but it's a different articulation. Especially in this library, which is Caspian from Performance Samples, you don't have like you don't have to switch articulations by key switching. It kind of does it for you. So it knows like this is a long note, you want it to be that articulation, etc. So that's why it sounds like this. And this is Century Brass. And if you notice here, I did switch articulations with BRSO Articulate, which is a plugin that I actually did a tutorial on. So yeah, and this is also in the strings, so this is just a layer. The thing that stands out here is the melody. We got it on bass trombones. I did also layer it with French horns. actually with two libraries. We got Caspian. We also got Century Brass 8IO. And these are legato notes, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And it sounds like this. So layering is extremely important if you want to get a big sound. It's not something you have to do, but it's if you want to get that big sound, you gotta layer. Also did put some trumpets, but it's on pretty low volume. I like doing these kind of things where an instrument is playing, but you don't really notice it if you're untrained. Like in the whole orchestration, this doesn't become that noticeable, but it's there. A small detail. I think that's... no, we also got percussion, which follows the rhythm of the strings. And also we got some cymbals again after the next section, before the next section begins. So pay attention. That rhythm is also in the strings. The percussion doesn't like hit every string note, but it does follow the rhythm of the strings. Probably it's better if I play them together. Like this. Here, yeah. That's basically it. We also got these taiko rolls, which helps to like ease into the next section, that is. So you should also pay attention to that. I got these volume automations, which helps to keep everything organic, because not everything is always the same volume. So sometimes things are louder, sometimes things are quieter, which is extremely important in like every genre. So before we listen to that iconic melody that everyone loves in Green Hill Zone, I'm going to show you a harmonic movement I decided to do. That's just a movement. It's not something you're supposed to notice, but it adds so much to the track. I did layer it with woodwinds, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Um, so things like that is super important. You can use those to your advantage, like put an harmonic movement, and it's something like no one's gonna notice, but they kinda hear it, but they don't know exactly why. So that's like a trick you can use. And now we can listen to the iconic melody, which I did layer. We got it on harps, we got it on celesta, we got it on strings. Let's start with the harp. And we also got that iconic response, like this is sort of like a question here and here, but it's get responded by this other harp in this case, like that. Right? So let's listen. And we also got the celesta, which wasn't that loud, I think. Yeah. So that's what the harp is doing, and that is what the celesta is doing. So it's actually 3 layers of harp here. I decided to do it this way. You can probably do everything in one pattern. I'm pretty sure you can at least do it in 2. So let's go to the strings section, right? Alright, I'm going to show something that I put in the back. This is not the rhythmic part. This is more something I got in the back. And it's this part. I actually love this part. Obviously I did some mod wheel, so that's why it sounds the way it does. I made it rise and fall, then in the end it does rise. One thing that you want to do when you write for strings is that you don't want it to be blocky chords, right? Like maybe this is one voice doing this, like violas, and this is another, like cellos or something. Like these notes, they move independently. I also did put this, which is kind of quiet compared to this. But does add something. And this is just the ending part here is just to introduce some, I don't know, like something before the next section, that is intensity. So this is just a layer I did. Basses are doing this. So it's a layer. This is a trick you can use, like I got cinematic strings too, doing this. But I also got, it's the same notes, but it's a different rhythm, a different articulation, doing this. And these are like the notes I wanted to stand out. I did layer this part with violas, but violas is doing some notes in between. So violas is actually doing this. No. Well, let's go to the cellos first. Cellos, I'm pretty sure I just layered it. Yeah. So a lot of the times you can layer basses with cellos, so it means like it plays the same notes, but cellos are playing one octave higher. So it's the same notes, it's just a different library doing the short notes that the double basses did. Oh yeah, this is the violas doing this. So, like, if you pay attention, you're gonna see these notes in between. If I'm not wrong, basses does do these accents, not necessarily the same notes. And violas are introducing like these ones in between, right? And there's a variation of that somewhere, but that's like the main goal. Oh yeah. So we got the main melody, and we also got some really quiet tremolos. This is not something you have to do, but I like to do these small things because I think it does add something to the track. Probably I can take away this and it's probably still gonna sound pretty decent, but I put it on low volume for the sake of the track. Like, I didn't want the melody to be drowned by something else. So two libraries are playing the melody. Cinematic strings too. We also got the Jaeger, and it sounds like this. Oh yeah, and we also got that answer part on violins. All this is just violins. So one thing you want to pay attention to is that usually you want notes to like be on the same notes on two different instruments. For here example, we got this G here and this G here. Normally you don't want to do that, or if you really think you have to do it, at least put different rhythms, because it's not gonna muddy up everything that much. Obviously I did also play with the mod wheel. So it sounds the way it does because of this thing I drew here. And I did the same thing on the layer. So this is basically just I copied it, put it on the other library. At the end here, I also got this. This is just a way to ease into the next section. I think it's this library, right? Yeah. This thing. That's not in the original, I think. No, it's not. Besides that, we also got these. Which is, while I introduce another rhythm, and it's kind of a mix between this rhythm, like it's almost the same, and together they sound like this. So pay attention to this rhythm here. So it's like a mix between mostly this rhythm and this rhythm here. Like, these notes are longer, not a lot, but a little longer, but it still hits on this beat. But I do introduce some notes in between. So it's like a variation of this rhythm. But yeah, that's what the strings are doing. We also got some tubas. This is just something I did put in there, but I don't think no one's like gonna notice. But it's something I did. And it's the same thing. It's doing the rhythm of the double basses, the short notes in the double basses, like this one. But it's on such a low volume that probably no one's gonna notice. It's this one. Right? So it's the same thing. Oh yeah, we got some bass trombones, doing some long notes. It's just a harmonization, a harmony. But it's still in the same chord progression as the normal track. These are sustained notes, yeah. And we also got some main choir, almost doing the same thing as the bass trombones, but longer. And it does not necessarily using the same notes all the time, but it does. It's like the same idea. Here we're increasing the intensity. Same thing that we did with the long strings. So it's like this. Rising and falling. Then in the end here, it goes up. The percussion here is following the strings, mostly and the short notes, and tubas. This variation here is just like the strings doing at the end. So this is emphasizing that part that the strings does, that dun dun dun. But we can play the short strings together with the percussion. And you want the percussion usually to be like spread out, like you got some low percussion doing one rhythm. Like this is probably what the basses are doing. And probably this too. And this is like what the violas are doing or something. And this is, so we want things to be like spread out. But yeah, let's play those together with this. We can also bring the tubas. And you're gonna notice that the rhythm does follow what the rhythm of the strings does. So it's like almost like a band playing together. And that's how you want to think about a lot of orchestrations. You don't want to put notes randomly everywhere. You want to like think about, what is this guy doing here? Should I do a counter melody? Should I do the exact same thing? Because even if, for example, if brass and strings are playing the exact same thing, it's still gonna add something because brass has a different color than the strings does, and vice versa. Now we're gonna listen to what the harp is doing because it has changed here. Alright, so I did introduce the top melody. This is in the original. Dun, 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 dun. So it's another melodic element soaring on top of the main element. Me personally, I would consider this a counter melody because of the low volume. But this is like, we got that da 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 da, right? Then we got this part. Dun 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 dun. It's almost like an answer to that iconic melody. We got a different harmonic movement. In this case, I did put it in the same harp. Then we got another harp still playing the melody. And harp 3 is still doing this. I'm not wrong. I think I did layer it with bassoon. Yeah. And these are short notes. I think these are staccato notes, right? Yeah. And that's, when you write for woodwinds, you want to have gaps between them, usually. But since this is a staccato notes, I thought it was like fine. But if it was maybe sustains, like this, and this, I would probably add some breathing pauses here and there. We got some string ensembles, also doing the top melody part. And those are tremolos. We got basses, still doing the same thing. We got a variation here. I just wanted to add something new, honestly. If I would redo this track, I would add more variation here and there, to be honest. Because this becomes kind of, if a listener listens to this, it becomes kind of expected. Like sometimes you want to surprise the listener with something new. That's what I tried to do here. I think the cellos are doing the same thing. I'm not sure. Yeah. We got violas. I did add another voicing here. that's just a variation I had in the basses too. So when I layer things smartly. I also got this part. This part is pretty quiet, but does add something to the table. And if you paid attention, you will notice that nothing is playing the main melody and the strings. Well, not the iconic melody. We also got this part. So it's pretty simple. I just layered, well, I repeated the same thing, but put another voice on top of it, right? Now we're gonna get to, in my opinion, the sweet part, the brass. Brass is doing this. And it's like a mix between what the bassist is doing and some long notes. Now we got the French horns doing that iconic melody. I'm pretty sure it's layered. Yeah, we got century brass and we got Caspian. Legato notes. It's doing this. And Caspian is just, well, switching between articulations based on how long the notes are. Pretty sure we got some trumpets layering that. We got these ones. And as you heard, it's kind of different, but it's still the same melody, but I wanted to add more articulations. And this is a trick you can use, like you can try to add as many articulations as possible, but try to do it smartly, because it's gonna make your track richer, and it's not gonna make it sound robotic, basically. But it's two layers here. We got these trumpets, basically playing in the same octave as the brass did, the French horns. Like this. I think it's this one. No, sorry. It's this one. And I just wanted to add another voicing with the melody. It's on pretty low volume. I think it goes. Oh yeah, it can go up to. Yeah, so one note is missing here because it's playing out of reach. It can't reach that note. Yeah, that's what the brass is doing. The choir is doing the top melody, which I consider a counter melody, as mentioned before. It's a women choir. I did put it on the wrong track. Should be like this, but it's fine. And it's playing what the bass trombones is playing. It's on a higher octave. I'm not sure if it's playing the same notes. Yeah, I think it does. And the percussion is following the same rhythm as the short notes, as always. So it's play this, and this probably, and this. You're gonna notice that. But I did add another layer to make it bigger. This wasn't there before, so I added something more. And as always, I did add some cymbals before the next section. And we also got some taiko rolls. This is true for that's just a way to ease into the next section. The next section, which is, I thought it was, well, let's listen to the exported audio so I can explain. So basically, I thought it would be hard to go from this part and straight to this part. Sorry, this part. So I wanted something between, like a bridge almost. I think it's decent. I think it could have been better, but I don't think it's totally like fully bad or something. I did put some harmonic movement on harp. We also got strings doing this. Well, bassist is doing this. cellos are doing something similar. I'm not sure if it's, I did. I think it's just a layer. By the way, just to emphasize, you don't always need cellos to exactly play the same thing like the double basses does. I don't know why I did it that way, but just so you know, basically. Violas are doing this. And we also got some violins. So if we check span, and play it. So if you want the big sound, you kind of want span, while the frequency range look kind of like that. It's not something you gotta do, but if you want the big sound, it helps. So that was the string section. Yeah, so bass trombone are doing this. And I decided here to put it all in one patch, which is not always the case. Sometimes I want maybe more than one brass bass trombone patch, because maybe I just want to do a different modulation on one bass trombone than the other. So everything I do is not always by chance, right? French horns are doing something similar. But it's layered with century brass. And Caspian. I'm just gonna double check if I did layered this, but I don't think I did. Okay, I was wrong. So this is also century brass. So the main idea here is that one library is bringing something to the table that the other library doesn't. Probably I did do something with the modulation here. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, we got some trumpets. So it's the same thing. It's not necessarily always the same notes, but it's the same rhythm. So it sounds pretty huge. Let's see if we actually can play this together with the strings. Maybe it's going to kill my CPU, I'm not sure. That was fine. Oh yeah, we got some melodic or some harmony. A harmonic movement and the woodwinds too, the flute. And that is the same thing as the concert harp. Alright, in my opinion, one interesting part in this part is the percussion. And I'm gonna play the strings and the brass. Probably it's not gonna kill the CPU. Well, almost killed my CPU, actually. Alright, so this is following the strings mostly. And I think it's quite interesting, to be honest. We got... Let's play together with the strings. I think it's going to be a lot better to explain it. Alright, so we got some epic dulls following the rhythm of the strings. We also got some toms doing the same thing. And we got some snares. But I did add some variation here. This part is just a small flavor. It's a drum roll. It's like a small thing that I added. It's not something you have to do, but I think it enhances the track. And we got some cymbals and some timpani. Let's listen to the timpani. I said timpani. So it's the same rhythm as the other part of the drums and the strings. We got the cymbals doing this and gongs. That just to make things more exciting and bigger. Now we're gonna actually talk about my favorite part. Which is this part. Well, let's start with this part. We got harmonic movement. Let's start with this. I love that part. together with everything. We got piccolo. And it's not supposed to play that fast. Let's see. Yeah. So we got two harmonic movements. We got the constant harp doing that, right? And together they sound like this. And always, this is just a variation here at the end. So it does follow a pattern, but I wanted something new. I think. We got the strings doing this. And this part is not supposed to be like action driven, right? It's supposed to be emotional, intimate, closed. So we got basses doing this. Layered on two libraries. So automation going up, down, up, down, up, down. And then it goes up. And I did layer it with Metropolis Arc 1. Same thing. And we got some violas doing this. Violins is playing the melody. Mostly just long notes, but we got these two short ones. Staccato notes. And we also got some tremolos. Which is basically just rising and rising and rising. Actually, stuff like this does add a lot of intensity. If you listen closely to the climaxes, you're going to notice that usually it just goes higher and higher and higher in terms of note placement, just to add some intensity. One thing you want when you're writing for long strings, actual strings in general, is to split the strings. Like you write something for the basses, then you write something for the violas, the melody, the violins, etc. The reason for that is that maybe you want different dynamics, different movements. It's really, it doesn't happen a lot that the whole string section is always playing in this on the same intensity, the same volume and everything. So I would urge you to not write everything in the same thing, the whole string section and an ensemble, that is. Sometimes I do that, but I usually try to split them anyways. Like here we got this part, right, that we listened to before. But I didn't write everything on it. Like I wrote some parts in it, but not everything. And that's just so I can split the string section. Make it more organic. Together, everything sounds like this. And this is I love this part. This is probably the best long string section I've ever written in my whole life. Alright, let's listen to the harp. So the harp is repeating. Except here. It's just a way to end the whole track, to add something. Like it has the same amount of notes, but it's playing in a different way. And we got the same thing with woodwinds, I think. And I forgot the tempo automation, so it sounds more like this. Basses is doing this part. And just repeating, and it's still layered. It's Metropolis Arc 1 with cinematic strings too. Just at the end here, it rises up. Cellos almost does the same thing, but we got some variation here. So at the end, I decided to put some tremolos to add some intensity to end with some intensity. Violas are still repeating, I think. Let's do this. Small variation. Whoops. Here too. Rises up like all the other strings. See how I managed the mod wheel. This is also another reason why you want to split your string section actually. Like I wanted the melody to be most noticeable here. And if I did write everything in one string ensemble, it would only have the same mod wheel, right? But since I did split it, this is the thing that stands out the most because I wrote a mod wheel here that is higher in intensity and volume. And together, it sounds like this. Let's see. Sorry. I said together. And that's basically the whole orchestration breakdown. Should probably show you how it looks with span, like this intimate part. It's not as big. Like compared to this. Also, obviously, the version I put out on YouTube and on DistroKid and everything, it's mixed and mastered, so everything is not in effect here. It would probably kill my CPU. So yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. I really hope this helps you. And I'm still new to this kind of thing. This is like my second one. But I hope it helps. I'm gonna keep doing these. And hopefully it does help someone out there. Because orchestral music can be pretty hard, honestly, if you don't know what you're doing. But just keep at it and you'll get there. And if you got any questions or any suggestions of a video I can do or something you're wondering, just ask in the comments and I will get back to you. So I think that's it. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.